You can use something called an expression so that you can control one object using another. I'm going to go ahead and grab our favorite test subject, the rhinoceros. And as you can see, I have the resolution down pretty low, 30%. So we can just focus on what we're doing here. And I'm going to just resize him a little bit like so. I'm going to put him right here. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And what I'm going to do with this layer here is I'm going to put a little miniature version of him right here. And this is going to be our controller, right? So this object, whatever we do to this object will drive what happens to this object. So to make sure I have everything selected properly, I'm going to go ahead and rename this layer here the controller. Now, what I want to do is I want to put an expression on the object that's going to have its motion driven by the controller. So I'm going to choose the rhino, and I have to decide what I want this guy to control. So what I want to do is I want to have the rhino rotate based on the position of this guy here. In other words, if I take the little mini me rhino and I move him like this, I want this guy to start spinning around. So I'm going to put the little rhino here. And once again, I want to put the expression on the object that's going to receive its motion based on the other one. So I'm going to twirl open the rotation property by hitting R on my keyboard. Now I'm going to go to the controller and hit P. So what I need to do is on the object that's going to have its motion driven by the other, which is once again this guy, I need to do something special to the stopwatch. I need to Alt click on it. Once again, hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and click one time on the stopwatch. And it opens up a hidden property called an expression. And we also have these numbers here. So in order to get the rhino to rotate when this guy moves, I'm going to take this pick whip here that's next to the word rotation and click and drag it to the position of our controller. So what this just did is it set this up so that when I move the controller, it's going to move this. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So I'm going to click on the little rhino, and when I move him around, the big one spins around. The little one's really annoying the big one. Bad rhino. So as you can see there, you can do all kinds of very complicated things. And we can also add to this, by the way. You don't just have to have one expression. So let's say that I also want to control the scale. So if I scale this rhino, I want this one to scale as well. So I'm going to keep everything the way it is. And I'm going to now go to the controller and we're going to hit S on the keyboard. And we're going to come over here and I'm going to hit S again. Once again, on the subject, I'm going to Alt click on the stopwatch and we're going to drag the pick whip to the scale property. And let's go ahead and see what happens now. So I'm going to scale the little one and the big one scales, and the last expression should still work as well. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. I'll rotate the big one by dragging the little pain in the neck one around. So it's really just bothering this guy. And I'm going to scale him and I'm going to blow him up and we're going to rotate him. Now, how cool is that? So imagine what you can do with your comps now that you can create something called an expression. Now, expressions go way, way, way further than a little bit I just showed you. As a matter of fact, you can write this code yourself. Now, of course, we're talking about me here, so I'm not writing code, but you can look it up in your manual and you could probably really specialize in doing this kind of stuff. So that is, once again, a quick look at how you can drive the behavior or motion of another object using another one inside the same comp.